I have heart stuck in my mind. Damn you, James Gunn. It was good, Adam. Yes, the beanie is green. Ready to lean. With the lean monster, also known as the parasite. Whatever. I was, we were babysitting my girlfriend's niece, on the weekend, and we just started watching Superman the Animated Series, and, every time the parasite showed up, the lean monster! Lean! I mean, there's an edit there. I mean, I'm sure someone's already made it, but I thought it was funny. Also, like, the baby's like barely 3 months, so she's not gonna get that joke at all. She barely understands words. Hey, what is good? What's good, Josiah? No drinking lean for green beanie on stream. Hey, those are bars. You know, you get it, bars. Lean, no. No, I'm playing. Kind of. Actually, can you get lean at bar? No, I'm not even gonna test it. I'm not gonna test it at all. Because that would be illegal. And Darwin. Just straight up Darwin at play there. It's like, yeah, I want something that will kill me in this public space. Where I still have to get home. Hey, so how'd you guys, I guess we're just gonna, like, jump right into it. Obviously, with the whole Kamala Khan thing, that, no foreplay, we're just gonna go in raw. Because I was contemplating making a video about this, but then, do I really want to, like, dedicate that much time and energy editing a whole ass video when, I mean, it's a, oh, what's up, Supreme? I am well, thank you. Do I really want to spend, like, 3 or 4 days editing a 2-3 minute video about this whole Kamala Khan mess when there's not much to really say about it? Like, just a superhero died. They're gonna come back in like 4 months. More news at 11. Like, it's dumb. I mean, granted, the way they're killing her was really dumb. I mean, that's the real problematic problem. I could have phrased that better, but that's the real problematic problem here, right? Like, you want to kill Kamala Khan? Cool. Why do it in a Spider-Man book? A. B. The Spider-Man book pertaining to the Spider-Man that Kamala has no personal connection to. Like, that's the real kicker here. Also, Carol Danvers doesn't have a book anymore. I mean, she kind of does still, but, like, it's ending. Why not just cap off the Captain Marvel book at issue 50 with the death of Kamala Khan, who is her kind of protege? Not really. But just any number of things you could have done with that. They picked door number 5. There's not even really a door number 5. There are 4 options, and they pissed acid on the wall and made a door, and they just jumped out, and there's no room behind it. It's just air and then death on the ground. That's what they did. I don't know why they did that, but that's what they did. She's gonna come back as like a fucking mutant or something. They're gonna Krakoa her back because apparently at the end of Acts, the resurrection protocols are open to everybody, Which, I mean, cool, I guess. I didn't read Axe. I got bored of it pretty early on. I'm gonna be honest. Also, just event fatigued. I just felt event fatigued at that point. But I mean, they're gonna bring it back, and they're gonna say, actually, your inhuman DNA is mutant DNA, and your mutant power is Green Lantern constructs that are purple, because your MCU counterpart does that. So no more stretching for you. So I'm sure that's just what they're gonna do. They're gonna bring her back as a mutant or a cosmic, like, Green Lantern, or both. You know, ¿por qué no los dos? Why not both? Let's have both. It's just blatantly obvious. it's blatantly obvious that's the course of action. I'll be surprised if it's not. I will be surprised if they don't do that. But I'm like 99.99694203331 in the bins with a gun, trapping on the block, chewing some gum. Like I'm that's how convinced I am that she's gonna come back as a mutant with MCU powers. But you know, in Amazing Spider-Man, you're gonna kill her off in the Amazing Spider. All right, whatever you say, Nick Lowe. You brilliant genius editor. You know, all right. It just sucks that Zeb Wells is getting thrown under the bus real hard for this, and it's not really Zeb Wells' fault. I don't blame this on Zeb Wells. Just like I don't blame the ending of Nick Spencer's run on Amazing Spider-Man being just a wet fart of nothingness on Nick Spencer. I don't blame... Well, I do blame a lot of the stuff on from the Dan Slott era on Dan Slott. But Nick Lowe sanctioned it. And I don't blame some of the weird shit that happened in the Bendis book for Ultimate Spider-Man on Bendis. Apparently that was just like chock full of editorial like dick shoving from Nick Lowe and Bill Jemas. I mean, despite that, Bendis still cranked out, in my opinion, in my honest opinion, a pretty consistently like solid ass 100 issues, or 111 issues. Whatever the conversation issue is, which is like kind of a blatant ripoff of JMS and John Romita Jr.'s conversation issue. But I mean, it was still good. It was still really good. 120. That was issue 120. Jesus Christ. Wow. Yeah, I guess Ultimate Spider-Man was consistently great for longer than I thought it was. But I don't know. It's just we're gonna kill off Kamala Khan in Amazing Spider-Man. Like, of all the places to do it, well, they were right. It was a shocking death. Is it the most shocking death since Gwen Stacy? Probably, but only in that it's just weird and random. Like, it would have made more sense to bring Deb Whitman back to the book and then just unceremoniously just have her head get cut off and then her body just explodes into a million beefy chunks than just killing off Kamala Khan. I don't... Alright, whatever, man. Whatever. She's gonna come back. She's gonna come back, but it's still weird. Adam says, I stand by my statement. She'll be back. Or she'll come back when she comes to the movie screen. She'll be back and alive with a new number one. There was a revolving door around heaven and hell in comics. Absolutely. No, I'm not saying you're wrong there. It's just there's no real sales bump in these things. And I got into like a slight disagreement with someone in my initial like announcement post about this, where they were like, "Oh, there's a sales bump," but not really, you know. In the time that I worked at a comic book store, you'd see stuff like this, and there'd be like a slight kind of bump where, you know, the speculators who come in the shop every week looking for variants, they'll get, you know, whatever variant cover they think is going to be popular because, oh, it's the rare cover and this character died. Despite the fact that, like, everyone knows they're going to come back in, like, 2 weeks. But, oh, speculation. But, like, and maybe you'll get, like, random Joe Schmo off the street who's like, I saw on my Facebook feed that they killed off this character. I'm gonna read about it, but outside of that, no, most people don't care. Good luck bringing your book that sells anywhere between 15 and 25,000 units per month up to like a 42 units sold for that week. Congratulations on that. Maybe, like, I don't. You'll see a significant sales spike if a book is good. If a book is high quality, then you'll see a significant sales spike. In the case of Immortal Hulk, that was proven to be evident. You know, when book is good, sales go up. Like when Peter Tomasi was doing Superman Rebirth with Patrick Gleason, Superman actually reached the top 10. Like the first time since the early 90s. Again, it's almost like if you have a high quality product, people will buy it. Even if they have the option of pirating it, they will still buy it because they want it. They want to be a part of it. They want to be a part of its legacy. They want to, like, this is just simple stuff, I think. But I'm just some random jackass on the internet who talks to a camera and the guys on the other end of the camera while wearing a weird cartoon beanie that I got from a comic convention. What do I know? As long as she doesn't get murdered like Bart Allen, I'm good. Oof. I'm just gonna keep saying oof because I'm pretty convinced that's actually what's gonna happen. She's gonna get Bart Allen, but like exactly Bart Allen. Like, she's gonna have, like, this really dumb death that nobody likes, and then she's just gonna come back, and everyone's gonna be like, alright. I guess. I mean, cool, but, like, why'd you kill them in the first place? Hey, Tevia. I think I already said hi, but, you know, hey again. They have met before. Oh, well, I know that, I know that Peter and Kamali have they've met before, but they don't have like a. The Spider-Man that Kamala's more like familiar with is Miles. I don't know why they just didn't. If it had to be in a Spider-Man book, just why not it just be in the book where she's already like. More familiar. It's just dumb to me. I'm sorry. How do you feel about Miss Marvel being killed? Oh, I was talking over you. My bad. But yeah, that's how I feel about it. The problem with Kamala's death is how much Kamala's stock declined. Because back in 2014, she was a hit. Where did things go wrong? Honestly, and I'm gonna say this as someone who really likes the G. Willow Wilson run as a whole. I think the problem is that G. Willow Wilson suffered the Ultimate Spider-Man problem, which is that you know how Ultimate Spider-Man, like the first 100+ issues are like really solid, and then like just after the Clone Saga, I feel like the book gets a little too just what's the best way to say it? I feel like Bendis falls in love with this world that he's built. He falls in love with the characters that he's crafted, and he falls in love with his world. And then it just kind of becomes a little too cutesy. Like it becomes a little too like that, you know, like Bendis is starting to. So G. Willow Wilson experienced that problem like in the latter, not even half, like that's like the latter quarter of her run. It just got a bit too like grapefruit technique-y, like self grapefruity. I don't know, and it just started to like and then the Saladin Ahmed run came and went. I didn't read it. I mean, nothing against Saladin Ahmed. I just, you're not that guy, pal. Yeah, I read the first issue and I was like, ah, you're not that guy. Kamala also faced a massive problem where she got too big. That's also part of the problem. Kamala started off as this like plucky street kid, and she's the plucky street level hero, and she's the next generation hero. When Marvel started putting her on the Avengers and the Champions, and she has all these superhero friends, and her like her civilian friends start to feel like less important, that's when things really started to become problematic for that character. That's when it felt like it felt like the bubble got, not bubble, it felt like the balloon was blown too fast, and she just that was the real problem with Kamala, I think. Also, ain't nobody gonna buy this Miss Marvel book, and Spider-Man's name is still a hot mess in these streets. Ugh. I mean, yeah. I got nothing else to add to that. Just being a Spider-Man fan, as far as comics are concerned, it's just pain. It's pain in the 21st century. That's all it is. What do I think they're calling Kamala and Amazing Spider-Man? Just blatantly, I think it's incompetence. I just think it's like editorial incompetence. And I know that like probably puts me on like a no hire list for Marvel, but like fuck it, let's just call it like it is. There's a million things you could have done. You picked the one thing that you shouldn't have done. Congratulations. Like, even if this didn't get leaked, it still would have been an absolute shit show. It still would have. Why not let her keep her polymorphic powers? Because maybe just because Mr. Fantastic's coming, and people who are like dumb as rocks are gonna be confused and like, is Kamala Khan actually related to Mr. Fantastic? That's probably what Marvel's thinking. It's the same reason why Marvel also, I'm guessing, well, not I'm guessing, we know this for a fact, why they made a Moon Knight show and had Moon Knight get, like, Spawn powers? And they made Stephen Grant, like a ratty-ass gift shop worker instead of being like Leonardo DiCaprio from The Wolf of Wall Street, because they're like, it's just too close to Batman. It's just too close to Batman. I feel like Moon Knight, if you play him right, yeah, he presents as like Batman adjacent, but when you actually sit down and read Moon Knight, you're like, okay, you're like, they're playing with the framework of Batman, but you are not Batman. Like, you're very clearly not Batman. Just have faith in your characters, man. Have faith in them being unique enough. I don't know. Maybe Paul will just German suplex her to death. Yes. And then he's going to rip off his shirt and reveal that his body is actually the body of a teenage girl. And he's going to put on a mask, a little blue domino mask, and he's going to wear one of those bikinis. You know, the little Kamala wears. He's going to wear a bikini and say, "Paul, what a joke." And he becomes the new Miss Marvel. That's the future. Then we're going to get Miss Marvel #1, Paul Watson, Miss Marvel #1. On shelves, July 2023. Oh, man. Oh, what's good, Remix? Do you think they're killing off Kamala so they can resurrect her as a mutant? Yeah, I mean, we went over that already. Yeah, it's, I think she's gonna get killed off, only to get brought back as a mutant with Green Lantern powers later. Like, I'm super convinced of that. I think that's where they're gonna go. How does her death affect Peter Parker? He's gonna be sad. He's gonna be sad. That's it. Ain't nobody gonna read this in her own book. She doesn't even have a book right now. She has like team ups with like other characters, but she doesn't have a book. I mean, you know who I think would make a really bomb ass Miss Marvel comic? I think Brian K. Vaughan would write like not like a Miss Marvel comic. I think it would go that hard. Now, would Brian K. Vaughan ever go back to working for Marvel Comics? Probably not. But I think he'd do a really good job of it. I cite Runaways as my reasons for why I think that. Why not kill Mary Jane? Because that seems shocking. Probably because it was a red herring. They were never going to kill Mary Jane. I mean, I think they should kill Mary Jane. In fact, I think in an ideal world, Marvel kills Mary Jane and Peter, and then you just replace them with the Renew Your Vows counterparts, and you Spider-Man Reborn that shit. You just he's going, yeah, this universe kind of sucks with these versions of these characters, huh? All right, anyway, she's Spider-Man Reborn. Boom. Here's the Spider-Man you actually care about. I'd be cool with that. Speculators killed the comic book industry in the 90s. Well, they didn't kill the industry. It's still here. They just ruptured one of its testicles and broke its kneecaps. That's all. Why repeat the same gimmick that doesn't work? Well, I mean, that's just capitalism at that point. Like, capitalism is like a schizophrenic entity in and of itself. Deleuze talks about that. Wait, is it Deleuze? Hold on a second. I thought it was a Deleuzian Gilles Deleuze or Giles Deleuze. Um, yeah, that's a very Deleuzian concept. Um, Capitalism being like schizophrenic in nature. It's not supposed to make sense. It don't think about it. If you don't think about it, it makes perfect sense. That's all. And while I have you guys here, I know we're close. I know we're all close. But are we close enough to like? Because I'm gonna eat on stream. I'm just gonna do it. I haven't eaten all day. Well, that's not true. I ate at like 1 o'clock, but I can't survive off one meal. I need food. But that was good, Arcus. How you living? All right, sorry. I'm just gonna vor all of you guys right now. Oh. Mm-hmm. This is a mukbang stream now, baby. No, fuck. I didn't think that through. Oh, man. Alright. By the spirit of Sasha Grey, help me. Oh, that was good. Alright. Al Ewing versus Jonathan Hickman. Who do I like better? Fuck you. Fuck you. I hate you. Like asking me, like, if I had two kids, which one do I like better, the first one or the one that's actually talented? Damn it. I just realized how that came out. No, like, both Jonathan Hickman and Al Ewing are, like, amazingly talented. I guess I like them both for different reasons. I like Jonathan Hickman for his weird world building shit. And the way he just kind of... He will be irreverent to character and tradition for the sake of telling a weird and interesting story. But I really like Al Ewing for his love and respect of the lore of the Marvel Universe. And possibly the DC Universe. I don't know. I haven't seen him write anything for DC, but I would imagine he'd probably do the same. But I really love everything I've read from Al Ewing so far. I read that Wasp comic that he did. Also the Ant-Man comic that he did. Stellar stuff. I highly recommend checking those out if you haven't. If you're like a classic Avengers reader, or you really like old school Avengers, definitely give Ant-Man and the Wasp, the Ant-Man 4-issue miniseries and the Wasp 4-issue miniseries. I would highly recommend checking those out. His Venom comic was bad. The one he's doing with Ram V? The current Venom comic? Tevi, what are you smoking? The current Venom book is really good. I mean, I like it. What's like? Yeah. Okay. Well, alright. What don't you like about it? I thought it was. I think it's really good. Or what I've read of it so far, I think it's really good. How's Marvel's output outside of Spidey? Is it mostly good? I'd say it's mostly good. You know? It's that thing that I think comics journalism is always focused on like the negative. But no one really wants to talk about the positive because the positives just aren't sexy. You know, it's not sexy to be positive. Ask Magic Johnson. But I'm on a roll tonight. But yeah, no, I no one wants to talk about how Moon Knight is amazing. No one wants to talk about how a lot of the current X-Men books actually are pretty cool. I mean, even if you don't like the whole Krakoa era, I still think, some of the stuff with Mr. Sinister taking over the X-Men is really interesting. I think like the stuff where like Scott Summers is Captain Krakoa is kind of cool. Like I think some of the Krakoa X-Men stuff is like pretty alright. Then again, I'm not a big X-Men guy. Like, I like the X-Men, kind of, maybe, a little bit. I like the idea of the X-Men before I actually like the X-Men. But, of what I've read, I think is alright. Warlock Rebirth is really good. In fact, all the Adam Warlock stuff that's been coming out the past couple of weeks, or not really weeks, past couple of months, by Ron Lim. Is it Ron Lim or Ron Mars? Actually, I think it is both Rons, like both Ron Mars and Ron Lim. Those have been really good. Hulk is getting a book by Philip Kennedy Johnson. I'm extremely excited for that. I hear the current Hulk book is also good. I just I wasn't really into the whole like Starship Hulk concept. But even then, I heard it was like fun. I didn't hear anything like overtly negative about it. I really like Venom currently. In fact, fuck it. Let me see what I have on my pull list. Do I have any Marvel books in here? No, these are all DC. Yeah, no, these are all DC books this week. Also Mr. Miracle, not Mr. Miracle, Miracle Man is really good. But yeah, no, there's a lot of really good comics coming out of Marvel right now. It's just no one wants to talk about them because it's not sexy to be positive. So stay negative. That's where the real discourse comes from. But yeah, no, there's a lot of really good stuff coming out of Marvel right now. Just no one wants to talk about. Oh, Iron Man's also really good. I like the Invincible Iron Man book. It's fun. I'm digging it. So yeah, no, there's a lot of cool stuff coming out of Marvel right now. Aside from Spider-Man, which is their flagship title, so that's a problem. But Spider-Man aside, most of Marvel's all right. Who's writing Iron Man right now? What's his name? It is Jerry Duggan. Yeah, Jerry Duggan's doing Iron Man right now. And he's like bringing back some like weird, like deep pull kind of like characters. Well, not really deep pull characters, but he's going back to the well of like 80s Marvel really hard with this, and I'm like really enjoying it. Dude, I fucks with it real hard. Omega says, I feel Ram V would be a better fit for Kamala. I'm ready for a dark Marvel Knights take on Miss Marvel. Hey man, Kamala blacked. I'm down for it. Alright, maybe that. Alright, too far. I need to rein myself in. I was talking about that with Troy earlier. Sometimes I maybe go a little too far with my jokes sometimes, but yeah. But yeah, no, I think after the G. Willow Wilson run, not that it has to mirror Spider-Man, but just in that Kamala is probably the closest we have to a 21st century analog to Spider-Man for Marvel. It would have been good to mirror some of the Spider-Man era just a little bit, I think. Then again, I think that would have been the best case scenario for that character before she joined the fucking Avengers. Because I think that's really where problems start. That's where I think problems start. The thing that worked for Spider-Man is that he was the guy on the ground for years. He was not showing up going like, hey guys, I'm gonna join the Avengers and we're all gonna be pals. No, the Avengers didn't like Spider-Man. In fact, no one really liked Spider-Man. I mean, Daredevil thought he was alright. He was like, yeah, you're a young man who's got his heart in the right place. You're cool. Like the X-Men didn't like Spider-Man. The Avengers didn't like Spider-Man. Spider-Man's kind of a dick to everyone, so like that's really why no one liked him. He also wasn't really good on a team setting. But all of that came down to the fact that Peter was a young man. He was 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. You know, he was in his teens in those formative years, and he was learning lessons about being a person in the world, which is not really a thing we do with a lot of modern teen superheroes. Miss Marvel, as much as I like that character, conceptually, I think she does struggle with that, as does a whole host of other teen superheroes in comics right now. They don't really have problems. You know, they're more so written as the voices of reason because the adults are all crazy. But that's not actually how teenagers are. That's not how teenagers really work. Teenagers are flawed. Adults are flawed. Adults are majorly flawed. But just because the adults are fucking up doesn't mean the teenagers are incapable of fucking up. Because they also don't fully understand the world that they live in, because they're just crossing that threshold from childhood into adulthood. And we just don't write teen superheroes like that anymore. And I think that's a real problem. Shut up. Why? Stop doing that when I'm making really good points. Why? But I don't know. Yeah, if we're gonna have ideally, in an ideal world, Kamala stayed a street level character and just dealt with street level problems for the past 10 years. And then she would like kind of graduate into, you know, her college era where things get a little darker, things get a little more complex and morally gray, and you know, things happen. You're forced to grow up, or you're forced to learn lessons. Sometimes you do learn those lessons. Sometimes you learn the wrong lessons, and then you have to relearn those lessons. Ideally, that's what we would have seen with that character, but we just didn't. And unfortunately, I think a lot of that just comes down to the fact that she blew up. She got really popular. She got really popular really fast, so she just wasn't really allowed to grow up properly, I don't think. But yeah, no, I think Ram V would be a pretty good fit for a darker take on that character. I hear he's doing a lot of really good work on Detective Comics right now. I'll check that out eventually. I just didn't get into it because I'm tired of like ultra dark and gritty Batman. I think I told you guys this already. Like I'm more into a Batman that is like fighting zombies on like a Nazi controlled like counter Earth like third moon of Jupiter. It's like fighting side by side with Sergeant Rock and Brainiac with the brain of Starfire trapped inside of it. Like that's more so what I'm interested in. You know, like the Batman Universe book that Bendis did with Dick Darrington. That is more so what I want from Batman. You know, the current Batman book by Chip Zdarsky and Mike Hawthorne and Jorge Jimenez. That's what I want from Batman. You know, or even the stuff that Zack Snyder was doing with Batman, where Batman is, you know, he's bringing this team of super gods together, and they're gonna go fight Space Satan. Like, that's, I'm more interested in that than I am something in my dick, it burns. Like, I'm just not in. I'm not into it. It's not bad. I'm just not into it right now. Remix says, I love the X-Men from Claremont on, and while I get why some people don't like the Krakoa era, I personally think the X-Men comics were so broken after mismanagement in the 2010s, a big shakeup was needed. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think that's a big. I think that's a lot of characters need that after a certain point. Like, I mean, this is a controversial statement, I guess, or I guess according to Superman fans, but I think John Byrne was like a necessary shakeup for Superman. You know, and like having Lois find out his identity and them getting married, or first of all him dying and then them getting married, and then like later on, you know, having a kid, which I mean I kind of go back and forth on, but ultimately I'm coming around on the idea of Superman being a father, but yeah, no, I think these shakeups are necessary. You know, this is how you progress these worlds, how you progress these universes. The ultimate thing, though, I think, is undercutting these narrative progress points by just going back and saying, all right, that was weird, wasn't it? Anyways, let's go back to the status quo as it was 15 years ago. Like, don't do that. Like, that's my big worry with the Krakoa era. I think it's gonna end, and then they're just gonna put them back in the mansion. Which, granted, that's what Hickman wanted to do. Apparently, like, he was gonna do a whole thing where, you know, you start them here, and then they go in this big circle, and then they come back around. That's kind of what he did with the Fantastic Four. That's also kind of what he did with the Avengers. You know, he brought everyone back around. So I was interested to see him do that with the X-Men, but I guess the X-Men is just a brand that's like too big to do anything like radically interesting with them at this point. And the same with the Spider-Man's also kind of like too big to do anything like radically interesting at this point. Glad you're enjoying Miracle Man. Are you reading the new Gaiman stuff, or still catching up with the old material? Well, I'm reading the Gaiman stuff. It's kind of funny. I didn't like the Golden Age. Like when you read Miracle Man by Alan Moore and not Dave Gibbons, is Alan Davis? I think it's Alan Davis. When you read like the Miracle Man series by Alan Moore and Alan Davis, I mean, it's deconstruction-y, but like it's still fun superhero fare. When you get to like the Neil Gaiman sequel with the Golden Age, it's very flighty and it's very romantic. But like not like, you know, boy girl or boy boy or girl girl or they. It's not romantic in that way. It's romantic in that Neil Gaiman is like writing like fucking poems, and you have like statues of Miracle Man just erected in the heart of like, you know, not even volcanoes, just like in meadows, and you have people talking about Miracle Man, and it's always it's very Sandman-y. You know, like it's all the things I didn't like about Sandman, and still I don't want to say don't like about Sandman. It's just it's I have to retrain my brain when I read that material. That's what was really affecting my reading of the Golden Age, because it's not about Miracle Man. Like it's about him. It's about the world that he creates, but you're not actually with him anymore. But then you are with him in the Silver Age, because the Silver Age is all about him trying to, well, the Golden Age is all about him trying to bring back young Miracle Man, and in the Silver Age he brings back young Miracle Man. So you're more involved with Miracle Man at this point in time. Like we're actually like in the driver's seat with him, and that's what makes it like a little more engaging, I feel. But yeah, dude, the Golden Age is tough. It's tough to get through. It's tough to read. But looking back at it with the context of the Silver Age, I don't know how you do the Golden Age any other way. Like that's the problem. Like ultimately, the thing with the Golden Age is it is set up for the Silver Age, which is gonna be very interesting to see what they do when they eventually do the Bronze Age, if they do a Bronze Age. Question: do you believe Fall of X will kill off the Krakoa era? Probably, and I don't think it'll be done well. Why do you think Daredevil keeps getting good stories, but Peter Parker keeps getting bad garbage stories? Just quite frankly, Spider-Man's too big to fail, or at the very least, that's how Marvel sees him. Whereas Daredevil is like still in that weird iffy space. Also, Daredevil is just a weird anomaly. Daredevil always attracts like superstar writers and artists, and outside of not Sin City, what's the name of that book with the where he became a demon? Shadowland. Outside of the event Shadowland, Daredevil I don't think it's ever really been bad. Like even at Daredevil's worst, it's still better than like Spider-Man's worst, because it's readable. Like I'm not in love with a lot of what Andy Diggle was doing with that Daredevil run, but it's still like entertaining and like not like completely maddening to read. Like I don't know. Even a lot of the 90s stuff that people kind of like to retroactively like poke fun of and go like, yeah, this is dumb, because Daredevil's wearing a metal costume that's actually really cool, and you just have no taste. But like even like Fall from Grace is like pretty cool. It's pretty cool Daredevil stuff. I mean, even stuff I don't like that story where it's something about the father. It's about like how like Jack Murdock used to beat Matt. I'm not in love with that, but like it's still like all right. It's still all right compared to compared to like Clone Saga. So I don't know. Daredevil's just a weird anomaly. He's just very rarely bad. And that's it. God damn it. I feel Akira Yoshida is not a great editor-in-chief. Alonso had his flaws, but I like that he did try to bring new legacy characters. Yeah, I mean, he tried, just I don't think they were done well. I mean, this might be harsh, but I think he should have brought in more capable storytellers to tell these new stories. So he says, or kid characters get aged up for garbage, like what happens to my boy John Kent. Man, I'm sorry. You're gonna have to let that one go. Tev, you're gonna have to just take the L on that one. I mean, I get that, like, John Kenton's like your favorite character, but you're gonna have to let that one go. That's an L. It's just a solid L that DC took with that one, and they just can't reverse it. There's no way to reverse it. And I think John Kent's just got to be in a long line of other Superboys that just, now you fucked up, and you can't go back. Or you can go back, and it'll just be very weird when you do. Like in the case with Christopher Kent, he's back in continuity now, but he's like evil, I guess. Or like how they brought back Connor, but like he's now 90s Connor again, which I like 90s Connor, but like he is a different character. Like, he is a different character. I don't know, man. I don't know. So yeah, John Kent's just, again, long line of Superboys that are just, well, that's a weird choice you went with, but all right. You forgot the Inhumans push, which didn't help either. That's true. Supreme Omega says, one reason why Jaime Reyes is a better execution of Kamala is that he joined the Teen Titans only as a part-time member. That's true. That's true. He also wasn't like a major... He wasn't a major force in the DC universe like Kamala became. Like, very quickly, too. Yeah, Jaime Reyes is just a really cool character. And those first 20 issues are like genuinely solid comic book storytelling. So your solution is to give up on Amazing Spider-Man and let it crash and burn. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time. I mean, Clone Saga already existed, and okay, here's why I think no matter what, Spider-Man will not like crash and burn. There's a whole era, not a story, era, where Peter A had a clone of him from like the 70s come back to life, and then his parents, Richard and Mary Parker, came back to life, but then you found out that they were robots. And then Peter punched Mary Jane in the face during Clone Saga, and they also had a baby, which then MJ miscarried because the baby got killed, maybe, not really, nobody knows. That's just a dangling plot thread that no one's really done anything with for like 25 years, but okay, whatever, it's over there. By Norman Osborn, who we decided to bring back from the dead. So just clones, dead baby, arch nemesis who had a really brilliant death, just completely undermined after him being resurrected, and robot parents. If Spider-Man can survive all of those things, Spider-Man can definitely survive Paul. He can. He can. I found Miracle Man to be confused. Yeah, I just wasn't really into it. Or I love the Alan Moore stuff. I didn't like the Neil Gaiman material, but I like the current Neil Gaiman material with the Silver Age. I think that's really fun. What about the Dark Age? Oh, that's actually a pretty good name. Do you believe if Amazing Spider-Man fails, Marvel will finally listen to us and give Peter Parker Spider-Man married? Nah, man. Nah. Something I also learned in working at a comic book store is that Marvel Comics is notoriously, like, dogmatically arrogant. Like, they will literally, like, give themselves a boner and then, like, levitate themselves over a treadmill made of sandpaper and glass. And you will tell them, hey, Marvel, I don't think that's a safe thing to do. I think you might actually, like, friction your genitals off. And then Marvel will say, shut up, I'm Marvel, I know what I'm doing. And then they'll mutilate themselves and then say, anyways, new terrible idea. Because that's just how they operate, because they're the number one. You know, they're the number one of the big two, and they can do no wrong, despite the fact that they're just very clearly coasting off of a legacy that they just haven't lived up to since, like, the early 90s. And that's not a mean thing to see, or not a mean thing to say, because it's kind of true. Rubik says Daredevil is just big enough where he can consistently attract good talent, but not big enough where it gets constantly messed up with, like, Spider-Man. Perfect sweet spot in a lot of ways. That's what she said. But yes, you are absolutely right there. Arcus says, would be cool if after dying Kamala came back looking more mature, stacked up, and wearing the original Miss Marvel black one-piece suit with long boots and gloves. Honestly, you know what? You're saying that as a Coomer joke. Possibly. I think that would actually be pretty cool. I think it'd be really cool. Like, real shit. Like, have Kamala come back and she's older and she's wearing a more mature costume. That way you also put her in more mature stories to reflect her more, like, grown-up outlook on life post-mortem, or I guess post-resurrection. Yeah, that'd be really cool. Kind of like her, like, black suit Spider-Man era. I'd be into that. I'm not sure if you're joking or not, but I would actually be into that. I think it'd be pretty cool. You ever go through, like, a bad girl era too? Yeah, no, that'd be interesting. I refuse to let it go. Let it go! Let it go. It can't hold you back anymore. Let it go. Let it go. That perfect little boy is gone. Here stands John and his annoying ass Nepo baby. Look at me, I'm so smart. I'm John Kent. Climate change, yeah. He's gonna die too. Or he's gonna be, like, sent away to, like, another dimension where we just don't have to think about him ever again. One or the other. It's gonna happen. So if Miller or Mark Millar is Eminem, I guess Bendis is Jay-Z. Wait, You know what? Mm. I would not insult Bendis like that. Then again, I'm not a big Jay-Z guy. Like, I like him as like an entertainer, but I don't really like his music that much. Do I have to turn my black card in for that? I don't know. I'm not a big Jay-Z guy. I just don't. I get good entertainer, you know. I like what he does for, young artists in the music industry, but I'm not his music. I'm not. So what's the comic writer equivalent of Kanye? John Byrne. John Byrne is the music equivalent to Kanye. Like the guy who is like, he's talented, but he says weird stuff like all the time. But he's always said weird stuff, and people didn't really start to notice it until recently, despite the fact that they've just always been that way. Yeah. Yeah, no, John Byrne 100% is like the comic equivalent to Kanye West. Absolutely. Remix says, do you think Sony is the best way to get the Spider-Man marriage back? I feel like if Peter B. Parker with a kid is popular, and if the Tom Holland version continues and gets married, the comics will follow. Maybe. Maybe. You know? It could go in that direction. Very well could. But also just because Sony is a rival company, I could also see Marvel saying, like, fuck off, and we're going to sabotage our book just to sabotage your movie. I can see them doing that as well. I could very easily see them doing that as well. I hate Paul. He's such a nothing character. Well, I mean, I guess MJ also hates him, but, like, she's still sticking with him. You gotta stand by your man. Ooh. To quote Luke Skywalker, your arrogance was your downfall. Well, hasn't been their downfall yet. Supreme says, do you feel War Games is Batman's equivalent of the Clone Saga? Because that story obliterated the Bat family for like 5 years, and I feel the Bat family never fully recovered from War Games. Kinda. A little, yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't think it's nearly as bad as Clone Saga, only because Grant Morrison and Paul Dini, respectively, did a lot of work to rehab that character after the War Games era. Which is hilarious because they're both, like, two radically different takes on Batman. But, yeah, no, I think Batman got a better shake after War Games. And after, like, really Infinite Crisis, where Jeff Johns just kind of comes in and goes like, why is Batman like this? What is this? What? No, get this out of here. I feel like Batman got fixed sooner. Yeah. Um, I guess we're gonna make like a cancer allegory. Which I guess we'll just be morbid here. Clone Saga is like Peter Parker got like late stage 3 cancer when it got caught and like rehabbed, and he's in remission. But it comes back every so often. Batman's was caught like late stage 1, maybe early stage 2, and then all right, now you're good. Now you're good. Maybe catching a cold is like really bad and really sucks now, but like you don't have cancer anymore. Like that's the best allegory I can make. We're gonna do the whole War Games versus Clone Saga thing. Supreme says, "What is a comic book writer?" Oh wait, I did that one. Yeah, no, John Byrne. Question: How you have Marvel Comics listen to us and stop destroying Peter Parker Spider-Man? Just don't buy the book. Literally, just don't buy the book. Don't buy the book. Don't talk about the book. Don't do anything with the book. Just a new news report comes out. Don't even, you know what? And I'm guilty of this too, but I feel like the best possible option is to just ignore it. Ignore the book. Don't buy the book. Don't talk about the book. Don't talk about what you don't like about the book. Just ignore it. Oh, they're gonna kill off Kamala Khan in Amazing Spider-Man. Just don't talk about it. Or like, they're gonna. You find out that Paul is actually Peter Parker from Earth 727, and the reason they can't be together is because his penis is a spider, and he's the spider god eunuch. Just look at the article and go like, all right, and just keep on chugging. Just read something else. Talk about something else. Don't engage. Just don't engage. That's really how Marvel's keeping all of us like shackled. We care about this character, and then they do some weird fuck shit with him, and then we all react and get up in arms. But it's the attention. It's one part sales, but also like one part just attention. You get rid of the attention aspect of it, and then you just kind of smother it out. You smother the dog shit out of its soul, and then maybe it comes back as like something halfway decent. Arcus says, when Superman or John Kent preaches, all I want to say is, don't lecture me with your $30 haircut. Yeah. Oh man. Oof. Yeah. I think I've said this before, but I'm like not a. I don't like a preachy Superman. I don't like a Superman who preaches. I much prefer Superman who is like a man of action. Like I just bought JLA Elite, which it should have come today. It's like an old ass book. It's been out of print for years, but no one cares about it. So it was dirt cheap on Amazon. But yeah, I got it because I'm a completionist. The more comics I collect, the more I just become like a completionist. And it's hard to collect that like early 2000s Superman era without getting Action Comics 775, because it leads into one of my personal favorite Superman stories, which is Superman ending battle. But for the life of me, I do not like Action Comics 775. I do not like that Joe Kelly story. What's so funny about Truth, Justice, and the American Way? I really feel like that book breaks the rule of cool. You know how if something's cool, you don't have to explain why it's cool. Everyone knows why it's cool. It's self-evident. It's there. It's cool. Once you start having to explain why it's cool, well then you're defending it, and in that defense you're actively making it uncool. I feel like Action Comics 775 does that for Superman. Like, you don't have to explain why Superman's cool. Superman's already cool. But once you start going no, guys, no, but he's cool because he doesn't kill people, and you know why? Because we're actually gonna take, and this is what really just does not work about that story. We're gonna take Superman, who is the blueprint for the modern mythological archetype, the modern mythological hero archetype, and we're gonna pit him against these ratty ass trendy straw men, and go yeah, actually Superman, yeah, we kill because we're awesome. And then you just have obviously Superman kicks their asses because he has staying power and is not a trend. He just persists. I don't know. The book's dumb. It also doesn't really challenge Superman at all. He just beats up the elite and says, and that's why dreams. And I'm the good guy, so don't question the good guy because dreams. It doesn't really challenge him at all as a character. But I do feel like the sequel to it, which is Ending Battle, does challenge him. And I like that. I just don't like Action Comics 775. And everything that comes after Action Comics 775, which is just more preaching about why Superman's cool as opposed to just letting the character be cool. But I gotta fill in my collection because I get really weird about things just not being there. Arcus says MJ is the Rihanna of the comic book world. I mean, but we all know about her. Wait, is that a Rihanna song? Fuck. Or is that a Mary J. Blige song? Yeah, that's to the left, right? Oh, that's Beyonce. Fuck, that's irreplaceable. Damn it. Wait, then that's Beyonce? God damn, I thought that was Rihanna for 20 years. Jesus. That's just a big L on my part. Sorry, everybody in the human race. Wow. I don't think MJ is the Rihanna of the comic book world. Trying to think. Because MJ doesn't sing. That's just the one thing. MJ doesn't sing. She's an actress. She's a model, but she's not a singer. Rihanna's whole thing is singing, like first and foremost. Also, I never saw MJ as being like that famous. Like Rihanna is super famous. I don't think of MJ as being super famous. Like she's kind of famous, but she's not like super famous. Like okay, Cara Delevingne. Mary Jane Watson is the Marvel Universe equivalent to Cara Delevingne. She's like she's a prominent model. She's popular in the modeling industry. She's been in some movies here or there. Like she's been in 2 big movies. Like 2 blockbusters, but like outside of that, people know who she is. But like if you ask like, what's Cara Delevingne doing right now? No one knows. Like not unless you're like stalking her on Instagram or something. No one really knows. So yeah, I feel like Mary Jane is the Marvel Universe like equivalent of Cara Delevingne. Also like strikingly beautiful, just horrifying, like hauntingly beautiful. Not that Rihanna isn't. In fact, Rihanna's also like Rihanna just also looks like a person. This might be like a backhanded compliment to Cara Delevingne, but like I don't know. There are some of these actresses they look like they're grown in vats by like weird alien hybrid people. Like Cara Delevingne's like pretty, but it's like a weird kind of pretty. Like I look at her and I'm like, Like Chloe Bailey is like that. And also the chick from The Witch and Northman. She was also Magic in the New Mutants movie. Can't think of her name. But she's also like strikingly beautiful in like a very like, what are you? Kind of a way. Like you look at her and you're like, human, alien, mutant. I don't. What's going on there? Are you like? Are you like in the upper quadrants of Down syndrome? I can't tell, but you're very pretty. But like something's off. I don't know how we got on that subject, but just well, this went off the rails. Yeah. This is just my brain unfiltered. I don't know, man. I don't. It's just where my brain goes. But Debbie says, "Do you believe Flashpoint is the equivalent to One More Day, since the Flash family got destroyed until Rebirth brought the Flash family back finally and restored Wally West the Flash?" No, only in that the Flash actually got back on track, and Spider-Man never really did. There have been a few attempts here and there. Like I think Nick Spencer was like just this close to putting Spider-Man back together, and then just everything from the Beyond era onward just nukes all of that. Just nukes it and just takes a steaming, just like diarrhea on everything that Nick Spencer tried to do, and then we got what we got now. And Flash doesn't really have that problem. Yeah, the Jeremy Adams Flash book is really good. In fact, that's what I wait, did I get Flash this week? No, I didn't. It's still in my box. But yeah, Flash is really good. I did read 7.99, or I skipped to the end because I just had to spoil myself. I like that they brought the Rebirth costume back. I really like the Rebirth costume. I love it for Wally West. But Yeah, I don't know. I like it. The beard's a little odd. I don't like the beard, but I like the carrot top coming back. That's cool. Um, Arcus says, imagine if Kamala was made in the early 2000s, or what if she was originally an Ultimate Universe character? For some reason, I see her being like a punk rock Gwen from the early Ultimate Spider-Man issues. Interesting. Hmm. I could kind of see that. I kind of see her as being, um, I might get some heat for this. I feel like if Kamala is created in the early to mid 2000s, she would be a final draft version of Cassie Sandsmark. I just feel like some of the lore behind Cassie is a little and some of her characterization's a little like kind of I mean, she's charming and fun, but like Um, but I really feel like Kamala could have been like a final draft of Cassie, like a perfected version of Cassie. Um, so let the book die. Let the book die. Talk about Spider-Man, right? Yeah, let it die. Let it die. Let it die. Let it shrivel up in. Come on, who's with me? No, no one. Lorax. Guess I was the only person who watched that movie. None of you have culture or class. I need all of your badges. How to deal with bad comics. See no evil, hear no evil. Don't buy no evil. Yes. Or pirate them. That too. That also is attention. Um, Speaking of piracy, actually, let me just show you the comics I bought this week. Uh, um, Now some of these are like last week's comics that I just didn't pick up because comics are expensive. So don't hate me. But I picked up Junkyard Joe issue 6. This is the last issue of Junkyard Joe. I really liked the series. I mean, it's just Jeff Johns and Gary Frank telling really cool genre fiction stories that are kind of superhero stories, but not really superhero stories. And yeah, this has just been really fun. I'm excited to see where this whole thing kind of goes and to see like how it ties into Geiger, which I did read finally. I thought it was really fun. It was a really good book. I wish I didn't sleep on it. But yeah, I'm interested to see like how this universe kind of comes together. I also like that it is a shared universe that doesn't feel the need to like just like shove its genitals in my face and go like it's a shared universe. It's all shared. That's like the big reason why I think the Massive Verse is just it lost all of its steam for me. It was trying really hard to go like, you don't understand. We're a shared universe, and it's like, all right, guys, all right, cool, that's all right, man. But yeah, this isn't doing that. This is just telling cool stories and going like, yeah, they're all gonna come together eventually. That's pretty cool. I also picked up Superboy, Man of Tomorrow. This book is still fun. It again, like we were talking about earlier. It's so weird that this character is the same guy from the post graduation day uh, into like the Infinite Crisis era. Like it just doesn't feel the same. Like this feels like a Superboy who just completely missed graduation day. Which I don't. I guess in theory I don't hate because I don't know. Graduation day I feel is a little much. Like I don't hate it like a lot of other people probably hate it, but like I don't like it. um, but I mean, yeah, it's cool that Superboy has a book, so that's the primary reason I'm getting it, and it's been fun so far. You know, it's a fun cosmic adventure where Connor's out in the cosmos trying to prove himself because he feels like he's redundant within the Superman family, which I mean he kind of is at this point. So yeah, it's really cool seeing Superboy like overcome that sort of that like feeling of impotence. Like trying to like carve his own path in the DC universe. I'm interested to see where this goes. I'm very interested to see where this goes. Stop that. It's not nice. Let's see. Before I bring up the next comic that I got. Arca says, I say Action Comics 775 isn't that bad. The problem is that people give it so much credit and regard it as such an amazing story and an all-time classic, while it's just a one-off and ending battle is the real deal. Exactly. I mean, I think you're nice. You're more favorable to it than I am. I think it's awful. And everything I dislike about modern day Superman, but yeah, that's a read too. That is it's also a read. So on the M&M comparison, what is Mark Miller's equivalent of Revival? Because Revival is a bad album. Trying to think. The Ultimate Universe stuff, when Mark Miller comes back to the Ultimate Universe, is Revival, I think. Yeah. Compared to everything else he's done, yeah. Because that's also that era where he's trying to do his own thing with, like, Icon before Miller World becomes Miller World. And you get a bunch of just crap. Like, I think the Kingsman comic is crap. I think the, like, Empress is crap. Chrononauts is kind of crap. Like, it's fun crap, but, like, it's still, like, I don't know. I think that's his Revival period. I mean, he's come out of it now. Like, I think all the stuff that Mark Miller's doing now is really good. But, like, early, like, the early era of like Mark Miller trying to be like, fuck Marvel, I'm gonna finish my contract and I'm gonna make my own books like that. What is that, like 2000 like 10 to like 2015, 2016? That's the Revival period. Yeah. A lot of that is just not good. Action Comics 775 is a great story. I mean, to each his own. I'm just not into it. On the rapper comparison, who would have thought that Kanye would become a loony Trump Hitler supporter and Eminem would become actually chill in his later years? I mean, that's kind of how it happens, though. The guys who like are the like big loudmouths, just they get older and they just kind of chill out, whereas the guys who are, you know, I also think people just kind of miss this with Kanye. There are a lot of just factors going against him. Like, his mom died, and then he got like signed to like this major record label. And he's like kind of stuck in this weird contract. That's like kind of like a slave contract. It's weird. Or at least the way it's been explained to me, it makes it sound like a weird kind of like slave contract. Well, he has to like work for this label until he dies or something. Just absolutely insane stuff. But yeah, man, like I feel really bad for Kanye, but he is crazy. It's a crazy where I get where it's coming from. Like, if we're gonna make a comic book comparison, you know, because this is a comic book show, if we're gonna make a comic book comparison, Kanye is going through a prolonged nervous breakdown in the same way that I feel everything from the end of Daredevil, Guardian Devil up to really up to now, and even still, is just we're watching Matt Murdock just have a nervous breakdown, like a continuous, like, years long nervous breakdown, and it's just not getting better. It's not getting better. So yeah, Kanye West is Daredevil, confirmed. Nope. Good night, Tevya. The Beyond Arrow was garbage. Yeah, absolutely. Not even that hard though. I love I love the Jeremy Adams Flash book that I did a review on Tuesday. Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, good job. Supreme says nowadays Jeff Johns' Teen Titans is a very unpopular run, especially by fans of Peter David's Young Justice, because 20 years ago people liked it at the time. Interesting, the change in perception. Well, that's just how comics are. I mean, that's really just how like a lot of art and or entertainment is. Sometimes the thing that's really hot in the moment ages like spoiled breast milk that's just been left in the hot summer sun for 8 seasons. You know, it just kind of, like, you look at the first Avengers movie, right? That movie does not age very well. It really doesn't. Like, of the Marvel movies, it is one of the harder ones to go back to. I can go back to the first Iron Man. I can go back to the first Hulk movie. Iron Man 2 I've always had problems with, but like the first half of that movie is legitimately good. Everything after the Monte Carlo race is just, that's where it goes off the rails. And you can really tell that there is no script for this movie. But everything up to that point is pretty good. The first Thor movie is entertaining. But the Avengers, oh, baby, that movie is hard to go back to. Everyone loved to talk about like, oh, the who's gonna win, the Dark Knight Rises or the Avengers? What's the better comic book movie? Looking back, Dark Knight Rises has a lot of problems, but I still find it more enjoyable to watch than the Avengers. I'm starting to see it now with like more contemporary movies too. I feel like as discourse kind of like accelerates and we kind of hit this peak of everyone talking about the same thing for like 5 hours on Twitter, and then we all just kind of forget it exists 2 days later. You're starting to see that process of people sobering up accelerate. You're starting to finally see people talk about how Avengers Endgame actually isn't all that great. It's like just a rush job movie of like, do you like this thing that that Reddit said would be cool? Here's that thing. That's literally Avengers Endgame. I mean, look, I'm not trying to knock anybody. I'm like very that was a very big movie. It's a very big project. I do not envy the Russo brothers in everything they went through in trying to get that film put together. And quite frankly, it came out pretty good, all things considered. But which would I rather watch? Like Justice League or Avengers Endgame? I'm gonna watch Justice League, and I'm not the only person who says that. Like I'm noticing like more and more like random like people that I would meet at college saying that, and I'm like, what? All right. I mean, I agree with you, but like, oh, weird. And also, people are starting to ease up on the later Fox X-Men movies. And go like, actually, these aren't terrible. Like, for the simple fact that, you know, these aren't terrible just because they weren't made by Marvel Studios. Because that was a big thing at the time. There were a lot of Marvel movies that came out in that, like, 2010, really 2012, because it starts with The Amazing Spider-Man. 2012 up until, like, when Fox shutters and is just cannibalized by Disney. Yeah, all the Marvel movies that aren't made by Marvel Studios were just, like, hated. And the hate felt unjustified. Like, the first Amazing Spider-Man movie has problems. It is by no means a perfect movie, but it is a really good movie. Like, it's a really good movie. It's a solid story. I don't know why everyone hated it at the time, and I think it's pretty good. The Amazing Spider-Man 2, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 is literally the quality of a Phase 4 Marvel project. And everyone hated it at the time. But people love these Phase 4 Marvel movies. I don't know why, but they do. I think they're the same quality. Now, I like The Amazing Spider-Man 2 because it feels like a Spider-Man story. But as a movie, it's a jumbled mess. Like, I admit that. But because it didn't have the Marvel Studios logo on it, everyone just kind of, like, lambasted it. But as time goes on, people sober up and go like, it's actually a pretty good movie. It's pretty fun. So, I say all that just to, like, bring it back to the whole Jeff Johns Teen Titans thing. People loved it at the time, I'm sure, because I don't know, maybe the perception of the Young Justice book at the time was, well, that's kiddie stuff. We need the real Teen Titans back. And then Jeff Johns provided the real Teen Titans again, and I mean, at the time it worked, but looking back, it's probably like, no, I can't say personally because I haven't gone back and read that material like in its entirety. Since actually, I don't think I've read it since it came out. Like, I was reading it at the time when I was a kid, but I don't think I've read past that. Or I haven't read it since then, I'll say. But damn, yeah, it'd be like that. It did really just be like that sometimes. Superboy Connor Kent feels he's redundant. Power Girl, first time. I mean, I still feel like that with Power Girl. I dislike the whole Power Girl Supergirl dynamic like greatly. Ideal world, Power Girl is just Supergirl as an adult. That's my ideal world. But we don't live in my ideal world where I'm king of comics. And I can fly with telekinesis. I have telekinesis powers in my ideal world. But I'm also the king of comic books. I'm a simple man, you know. I have simple desires. On the MCU, I feel like the first Iron Man film feels unique. It feels different from modern MCU, more grittier than usual. Yeah, like that first Iron Man movie feels like a movie. If I'm gonna put it like that, it feels like a movie. Supreme Omega says, also on Jeff Johns, when did his critical and popular reception start to drop? Was it Doomsday Clock? Because the problems with his work was always there, even in his early to best works. I think it really starts with the New 52 Justice League. Because a complaint that I've heard people list with Jeff Johns is that a lot of his work in DC is just movie pitches. But I don't think it's something that people really noticed until the New 52. Like, they were always kind of like that, but like people don't really notice it until you get to the New 52. And I disagree with some of those claims. I think his run on JSA isn't really a movie pitch. I don't think his run on the Flash, or the very least, I don't think his initial run on the Flash with Wally West is a movie pitch. I don't think his Teen Titans is really a movie pitch either. They just felt like cool comics. But yeah, once you get to Flash Rebirth, that's when it starts to feel like movie pitch. Yeah. Supreme says also on Jeff Johns. Oh, never mind. You already said that. But yeah, no, that's just the whole Jeff Johns thing. It'd be like that. Something not Jeff Johns related though. One of the comments picked up this week. Is World's Finest, issue 15. This book's still fun. Please buy it, guys. Please buy it. We need to show DC that this book is fun, and we want more stuff like it. Also, Dan Mora is awesome. I love Dan Mora. Dan Mora does cool shit like this. And I think it's awesome. Because I'm a 4-year-old, and I like looking at giant Legos. It's fun. It's cool. Yeah, those are all the floppies I got this week. The big thing that I picked up this week, though, was Warlock by Jim Starlin. Now, here's the weird thing about Jim Starlin's Adam Warlock. This is where I feel like Adam Warlock begins and really kind of like not really ends. I think Adam Warlock ends with Infinity, but I'm not sure if you've ever tried to like go back and read some of the early Warlock stuff with like Roy Thomas and what was that Marvel Premiere, and like the Warlock series, like a 15 or 20 issue run. That stuff is just like hard to read. Like, I mean, I get what they're trying to do. Like, you have Adam Warlock is Jesus, and the High Evolutionary is like the judgmental, like Old Testament God, and you have that weird, like werewolf guy because there's a werewolf in every Marvel comic in the 70s because I guess Teen Wolf was popular back then. I don't fucking know, but like there's a werewolf and everything, and that werewolf in the Adam Warlock book was supposed to represent Satan, I suppose. But yeah, it's hard to read. Hard to read. This very much isn't though. This is like really engaging. Then again, just a lot of Jim Starlin's work is to my sensibilities. Even stuff like this, where it's just like walls of text. I'm like weirdly into it. Like I don't know what it breaks all the rules of the stuff that I just don't want to see in comics, but like I'm with it. Also, this is where the Magus comes into existence, and I associate the Magus with Adam Warlock because I'm a post Annihilation, or not post Annihilation, but like I'm an Annihilation era Marvel kid. But yeah, I really like Warlock by Jim Starlin. I like Jim Starlin a lot in general, though. And stop doing that, please. It's like there's a hamster in there. It just like has to bite down on the cord every time I'm about to say something. Like I didn't even know what I was about to say. Just I was gonna say something. My brain was going to a place, and you robbed me of that place. Thanks a lot. But yeah, I don't know. I really like Jim Starlin's work, and I like Warlock. And if you liked the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, like if you like the atmosphere of those movies, if you like the crazy cosmic sci-fi stuff, and like the way it's presented is like a rock opera, I really think you'd like Jim Starlin's Warlock. I really do. Also, his art's fantastic. Like just bro, look at this. This is really good. This is dope. This is dope. Fucking. This is all dope. I mean, in general, I think 70s Marvel Comics art is like top tier. But like, yeah, no, I'm really getting to the Adam Warlock stuff right now. Part of that's the movie. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 just got me back in like a cosmic Marvel mood. But yeah, no, really fun, and I think it's still in print, so it's pretty easy to pick up. Supreme says on Bendis's reception, when was his critical and popular favor fell? Was it Avengers Disassembled? Was it his X-Men run or Civil War 2? I think it's before that. I think it is Siege. Siege is when Bendis changes. And you can really kind of tell the quality just declines like during and after Siege. There were a few cool high points here and there, but for the most part, I don't know. The entirety of Siege is not made up for with Norman Osborn getting the Iron Patriot armor punched off his face. You just find that Green Goblin makeup is there, and he's schizo and freaking out, and Spider-Man punches him in the face. I mean, it's cool. It's a cool moment, but like it doesn't make up for the rest of the book. And then I just kind of feel like Bendis' work just does this, and then does this, and then does this. Arca says, World's Finest should just be another Batman Brave and the Bold comic. Superman is barely a character who gets sidelined by Robin, and again, he only preaches, and it's useless. I mean, Superman does some cool stuff in the book. I disagree with that, but there's also a whole thing like a generational thing with like Mark Waid. There's a way he views Superman that I think is somewhat antiquated now, but that's just me. On the whole, though, I really did like what he's doing with World's Finest. This is part of the reason I'm still picking up the book. It just kind of feels like quintessential classic DC Comics to me. And I'm with it. I'm gonna check out that Teen Titans maxi series that he does with is it Chris Samnee? I think it's Chris Samnee. Beanie, if you be the king of comics in an ideal world, then let me be the king of Superman adaptations. Done. You are now king. Supreme says, on Mark Waid, he had problems with the Spidey marriage and the Superman marriage, but he was somehow okay with Wally West and Linda marrying. I wonder why. Probably because he's the one who did it. This is probably why. It's okay when I do it. When other people do it, it's terrible. But when I do it, it's great. I mean, that's also just a normal human thing. And I like the Wally and Linda marriage. I never want that to get undone. If it ever gets undone, then DC's fucking up real hard. You can clip that shit and take it to the bank because it's true. Yeah. I mean, overall, there's a lot of really cool comics that are coming out right now. I know it can sometimes come off like a salty booty pickle sometimes when talking about comics, but like for the most part, there's a lot of cool stuff coming out, and yeah, I'm loving it. I'm liking it. I'm passively enjoying some of it too. Yeah, no, I'm into it. But what about some comics that are coming out that you're looking at? If you haven't already like typed it in the chat, you can also comment down in the comment section. Guys, thanks for watching. I love doing these every week with you guys. It's fantastic. And hopefully I can do some more video game streams. I want to do some like retro game streams. Like I want to do like the PS1 Spider-Man game. And I want to do like Ultimate Spider-Man and Superman Shadow of Apocalypse. Like I want to play some older games. So I need the technology to do it. But yeah, no. Thanks for watching, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. If you haven't hit the like button already, do that, please. And yeah, I will see you guys later. Actually, okay, one more question. Here's a statement. This is from Super Omega. Also, the modern Batman family. How do you feel about the fact that they all get along now? No more Damian and Tim trying to kill each other. No more Bruce being abusive to Cass and Steph. Ideal. I think it's ideal. Play Superman 64. You know what? If that's a dare, make it a double dog there, and I will do it. Like, wearing nothing but a kitchen apron. You have my word on that. And a beanie, for branding purposes, obviously. But, apron and the beanie. I'll do it. Alright, thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Peace! Wait, one second. I gotta duck face that better. Peace.